So I'm really interested in this transition from being a language educator to administrator. I mean, what thoughts do you have to share on that experience? You know, I'm really open to whatever you want to share.
I think it was it's a gradual thing, as I said for myself, where, I was teaching for a lot of the years that I was also being an administrator. And typically it was things like special programs, or, I often wasn't maybe doing the day-to-day classes that everybody else was, but I think it's important to keep a hand in the classroom, in order to understand what it's like, from the teaching perspective and from the student perspective, because you're going to be dealing with those sorts of issues, when disagreements happen between what a student's expectations were and what they're actually receiving in the class. They're going to be coming to you for some answers, or to at least have the discussion. And if you haven't been in there in a while, then I think it causes some distancing to happen, right? Where you might lack a little bit of empathy. So I think it's always good to try to keep a hand in there. I've recently got to do a few classes myself here, sort of informal extracurricular classes. And so that's enough for me to feel like I'm still connected, and that I can speak to the students on their level. And I'm, as you can see, I'm very into PD. And I think that's another great way to reach out to teachers, so that's critical as well. But I think the role between an educator and an administrator isn't all that different. In a way, some of the core pieces are still there between the two jobs. I think to be a really good educator, you need to be a sort of a fantastic listener, a bit of a diplomat, because there will be conflict happening in the class, and trying to negotiate that with the students is much like what an administrator would do when there's conflict, in a more macro sense. As I mentioned, I think it's good to be sort of culturally aware and empathetic, and so I think a lot of those things sort of naturally carry over. I think, to be a really good administrator, you probably need a little bit more exposure to some of the larger things. And I was very lucky to get some of that exposure. I had HR training, early in my career, and that was just serendipity. I didn't plan for that at all.
What kind of training? I'm curious.
So I ended up doing a certificate from Niagara College, actually, one of the local colleges here. But it was after I had been asked if I wanted to participate in, they were having a sexual harassment team, at my previous university. And they were looking for people to kind of round out as adjudicators. And why they picked me, I don't know. But I went to the 2-day training, and I thought it was fascinating. I was with a lot of professors and other administrators, of course, on the campus. And dealing with the casework that we had been given as part of the training, I thought was really quite interesting. And I thought, I want to pursue this a little bit more. I want to get, a little deeper into this topic, not necessarily with the sexual harassment, but just sort of the HR piece that goes around it. And so I went out, and I actually started before I took the certificate. I took a number of classes at the university through the business department, and got a small diploma there, and just lapped it up and then continued on.